So what is going on, my YouTube fam? Let me get these glasses off because of that glare. That glare sucks. So, it's been 2 weeks. Had a lot going on these past 2 weeks as far as training goes, and what happened and all that. And I'm sorry. I usually have my book that I keep all my stuff in, and I left that in the truck. So I apologize. This video may or may not be as long or as informative as my usual videos, but of course, I'm here to try to help you guys out with some of your questions, or to give you guys kind of an overview of what I'm seeing in this training process. So if you guys are new to the channel, I think my last video was a week 3. No, sorry, it was a week 2 recap of the driver trainer. So week 3, that weekend I was able to go home. My trainer took me home, and I hadn't been home in like 5 weeks, so it was definitely nice to get home and get some of that nice home time in, see my family and my kids and my wife. It was, I don't care how chaotic it was. You guys that if you're away from home a lot for whatever your job is, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's definitely a good time, even if it's just chaotic and things just don't go as planned. It's just what happens. So without further ado, let's go over some of these loads. Now again, I am missing that book, so this is just in some of the loads that we've done. I probably missed a couple, and based on what I'm looking at these numbers for, they guys, it's definitely not as much information as I usually put out, and I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed that I left that book in there, because I was definitely planning on making this video, because I owe y'all 2 weeks. So I know week 3, this was in my neck of the woods, so I'm from Virginia. This is not in Tennessee's neck of the woods. Week 4 is kind of coming out of Virginia back into the Tennessee neck of the woods. And actually, I went my furthest west I've ever been in my entire life. We went out to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we delivered out there some shingles. So that was kind of cool. I've never been out that far west, so I got to go over the Mississippi River. I don't know where you guys live in the country, or if you guys have been out west, but the Mississippi River is absolutely massive. And I know that the South has been getting, the South and really a lot of the country has been getting a lot of rain recently. So, the flooding area is just like, here's a river, here's a flooding area. So it's massive right now. And I got to see like Memphis and Tulsa and a bunch of Little Rock, a couple other cities along my route. So it was kind of cool. Again, I've never been that far west before. It was definitely a neat experience. And Oklahoma, for you Oklahomians watching this video, guys, please write to your government or something, because those roads are awful. And there is so much construction going on. And unfortunately, with today's times right now with COVID-19, I'm not trying to speak any kind of hysteria. I'm not trying to speak any kind of, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Guys, my personal opinion, I'm going to go about my daily life. There's no reason why I should be scared of something that I may or may not get. Now, I am kind of worried about, taking it home when I'm home more regularly. So, I am doing my precautions. I'm washing my hands. I'm using hand sanitizer. I'm trying to keep healthy. Still trying to keep a healthy-ish diet on the road right now. With kind of the limited space in the truck with 2 people in it, it's kind of hard. So, when I get to my own truck and I have all the space available to me, I'll be definitely cleaning up my diet and living a more healthy lifestyle. So without further ado, let's get into some of these loads. So we went in for service. I told you all about that. And we got a load of lumber coming out of Indiana. that went down to Georgia. That load paid $1,400 to the truck, so it was definitely a nice load coming out of service. So if you guys are not familiar with TMC's practices, every about 40,000 miles, they're going to send you into a terminal so your truck can be from top to bottom, from bumper to bumper, from inside, outside, whatever, cleaned up, polished up, parts changed out that you want changed out or need changed out, things that you have, if you have an issue with the radio, they fix it there. If you're there just for preventative maintenance, your oil, your transmission fluid, this, that, and the third, guys, I take care of all that stuff there. So it's a pretty long process, and you're gonna miss about a day. So to get a very nice load coming out of service, that's going to definitely help your bottom line. In addition to, depending on how well, depending on how your fleet manager works, you will get paid for that day too. It just will not be like an extravagant amount of money as if, you were out there on a load, but it does help, again, your bottom line. So we got that nice load of lumber coming out of Indiana. And then we went from Georgia, I missed one. We picked up some coils, but not like Big Bertha coils. If you guys are in orientation right now or with another trucking company and they're flatbedders, you guys seen the big old steel coils, and going down the road, you'll see them nice, pretty tarps. Those are Big Bertha coils. I'm not talking about those kind of coils. I'm talking about wire mesh coils. So these are coils that it can be formed, and they make like the concrete barriers that go on the side of the road that is like being worked on. So like when they split the lanes or whatever, and you see these concrete barriers going through, that's what that wire mesh is used to hold up the concrete. So kind of cool load. Honestly, guys, I don't remember how much to pay to the truck, but yeah, I did that load, and then that was leading us more north. That led us into, where did that lead us into? I think somewhere in Maryland, somewhere in Virginia or Maryland or something like that, Ohio or whatever. And then from there we picked up, picked up some, I went to Delaware, my bad, I went to Delaware. From Delaware, we went up to New Jersey and picked up some rebar, and then took that down to Maryland. And then from Maryland, we went back to Delaware, and then we picked up some sandbags, and then I got some home time, which was nice. Let's see here, and then I got my home time. That's why a video wasn't put out last week for week 3, and then that went into week 4. We got some. We took that load to Knoxville, Kentucky, to a big old steel plant. Dropped that there, and then we picked up some fencing. And I'm not gonna lie, had something kind of funny happen to me at the fencing place. So it's kind of a tall load. If you guys are flatbedders or you're in orientation for flatbedding, you guys, whatever company you're with, you're gonna see some insulation for flatbedding. And these fencings are about as tall as the insulation. Not as light, but tall. So when I threw the strap, I threw it so hard that it was raining outside, I slipped. So it's a little funny. My trainer was dying laughing. Everyone around me was like, man, I've never seen anyone slide like that trying to throw a strap. Because that was so embarrassing. But it was funny nonetheless. Even I was laughing about it. I mean, got nothing else to do. Might as well laugh. So I had that load of fencing. And then we took that up to Ohio. And then from Ohio, we got some aluminum ingots from another aluminum place. But these are round ingots, not the big old square ingots, but they're the round ingots. And took that down to Jackson, Tennessee, to the same company's plant, but just under a different name. And then from there we got some shingles, and then we took that out to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now again, it was the furthest west I've ever been. It was kind of cool. So guys, I have one more week of training. Oh yeah, but basically all that being said and done, over 2 weeks we brought like 10 to 12,000 to the truck in 2 weeks, roughly about there. I make 26% of that. So, also I forgot I think we mentioned Kubota. I'm not sure if that was in week 2 or week 3, but you guys can go back in my other video. If it's not in that video, then it was definitely this video for week 3. So with that being said, what I'm gathering in this training process is that you're going to get the bones. Your trainer is going to give you the bones of everything that you need. He's going to give you the tools and the knowledge for trip planning. He's going to give you the tools and knowledge for securement, trip knowledge for your Tremble or ELD system. He's going to give you knowledge of things that you need to keep in mind. He's going to give you all this information, and it's up to you to kind of put everything together. Starting out, doing it by yourself, even with the trainer, having his watchful or her watchful eye over you, it's going to take you a little bit to get it, because it's still taking me some time to get it, everything, like a well-oiled machine. I'm not going to lie, guys, I still screw up. And it takes me a little bit while to load some loads. He said that the aluminum ingot load, I think he said he can strap it and tarp it in 25 minutes. It took me about an hour. With the shingles, he said he strapped it all with the edge protectors, everything. He was in and out 17 minutes, because you don't have to strap shingles. Tarp shingles. My bad. It took me about 30 minutes. So you're gonna be a little bit slower coming out the gate, but guys, don't let that bog you down. Don't let that don't let that lack of confidence and lack of understanding really just be a mental block. Because guys, as you keep on doing it, guess what? You're going to become more efficient. You're going to become faster. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Just think Bob Marley in your head. Every little thing gonna be alright. Every little thing gonna be alright. I'm not sure if that part was Bob Marley, but just think about that song. And when you're driving on these roads, guys, just be careful. When you go and you're along with the customer, or you're in the truck stop, guys, just make sure that you guys know your courtesy. When you're changing lanes, flash the guy that's letting you over. You guys know what I'm talking about. The little button that lets you clear out your clearance lights, so you can thank the driver that lets you in. If you're whatever the case is, guys, just remember you're still a human, and these other people out here are still humans. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, but just do your part to be a decent member of society. Don't forget the manners that your mom and dad taught you. Don't forget to do basic hygiene things. Shower regularly. Wash your hands. Please wash your hands. I don't know where that hand's been, and I gotta shake it the next day. Probably gonna be putting hand sanitizer on it. Not just because of Corona, just because of I'm a human just like you. You don't know where my hand's been, so it's just do your part, and everything's gonna work out. I'm coming to the end of my run for training, and I'm getting in my truck, and guys, I can't wait, because once training wheels come off, like I said, you guys are gonna get a lot of videos coming at you. So bear with me. I'm almost done. Next week I'll be more prepared for a video. And with that, I'm about out of time. So peace out.